understand. So today our lesson is LP solution, left side of your screen, LP solution, special cases. So in other words, these are cases that you will notice as you solve an LP model, and there are indicators. Special cases ito, no? Like an example of a special case is that you formulated a model and then you're solving it, no feasible solution ang lumabas. Okay, that's a special case kasi what we expect is if we have an LP model, we should have an optimal solution. Kasi that LP model is supposed to guide us in our decision making. Diba? So therefore, we expect an optimal solution. That's the standard, that's the norm. Anything that deviates from that norm is a special case. Okay? We expect, ano pa yung mga ibang expectation natin? We expect that in the basic variable column, you will see all the basic variables, and in the solution column, you will see the values of your basic variables. And you expect values kasi decision variables usually yun eh, di ba? You expect values. If you see a 0 in the solution column as the value of a basic variable, that's not common. Okay, therefore that's a special case. Okay, if you see a 0 in the solution column for the value of a decision variable, that's a special case. If you see many optimal solutions in your manual iterations, if you see many optimal solutions, that's a special case because the norm is that there is one unique optimal solution. Okay, so and finally, when you solve an LP model and you're iterating at dumating sa punto that you can no longer iterate, wala ka ng may entering variable ka pero wala ka nang mahanap na leaving variable. Okay? Remember when you get the ratio for the leaving variable, remember, you divide, again, anyone? What do you divide? What is the numerator?
Yung solution po.
The numerator is the solution column, yung value sa solution column ng Tableau. And then, the denominator is?
Yung mga values po under for the EV po.
Okay, yung mga values in the entering variable column, diba? Which we call the pivot column. So you divide the solution column value by the pivot column, corresponding pivot column element, diba? To get the ratio. E paano kapag yung pivot column element, yung denominator, yung mga elements doon, 0 or negative, hindi ka makapag-divide, di ba? Kasi divide by 0, wala. Divide by negative, it's not allowed. Di ba? What if all the elements are 0 or negative? May entering variable ka na column, pero wala kang mahanap na ratio. Walang leaving variable kasi walang ratio. So again, when you encounter that, that's a special case. So today, class, did you get it? Yung mga unpeculiar cases, yung mga uncommon cases that you will encounter when you iterate. Nakuha nyo?
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
Okay, again, there are 4. Pagka nag-solve kayo, nakita nyo may R sa basic variable column, optimal na, no feasible solution yon. Pag multiple optimal solution, uncommon din yan. Pag may entering variable tapos walang leaving variable, uncommon din yan, special case din yan. And then pag may 0 na basic variable, 0 yung value sa solution column pero basic variable siya, uncommon din yan. So all of these are called special cases and they have corresponding names. So today, what I will discuss and show you is are the indicators. May mga signs yan, no? May mga indicators to tell you in an iteration or in the optimal iteration that you are actually encountering and experiencing a special case. So hindi nyo kailangan mabigla. There are signs to watch out for. There are what we call indicators. And the indicators can be seen either graphically or in the iteration itself. So there are 2 ways. If you solve a model graphically, there's an indicator in the graph that will tell you that there is a special case happening. Okay, but we will focus on the indicators sa iteration or sa simplex Tableau. Okay? We will focus on the indicators from the simplex tableau because graphical, again, is an impractical approach, di ba? We only use that for 2 decision variables or 3 decision variables. But for most of our solutions, we will be using big M or two-phase or revised simplex, which is iterative, no? Using the iterations. So therefore, there are also indicators in the simplex tableau, right? So now, there are indicators, and once you see these indicators and you identify the special case, the next is what will be the implication of the special case? What does that mean to the one who formulated the LP model and to the one who will make a decision? Okay, what's the implication of that special case? Okay, and of course, lastly, what will be possible solutions for the decision maker? Okay, so let's go through. As I've said, the first case is called the case where there's no feasible solution. And the definition, when you say no feasible solution, is that there is no point which will satisfy all the constraints. There is no feasible region. In other words, now if you're graphing it, there is no feasible region. There is no common point or region that will satisfy all the constraints in the LP model that you have formulated. Okay, so as I've said, here are the indicators. Okay, in the graphical approach, the graph produces no feasible region. So look at the right side of your screen. Okay, if you have an LP model, okay, here, you have an LP model, simple lang, no, para ma-visualize niyo. 2 decision variables, x1 and x2. You have 2 constraints. One is greater than and one is less than. Constraint 1 and 2. So when you graph, this is, okay, this is, okay, this is the graph for constraint 1, and this is the graph for constraint 2. And you will see that since constraint 1 is greater than equal to, the arrow is pointing away from the origin. And since the second constraint is less than or equal to, the arrow is pointing up towards the origin. And as you can see, since we only have 2 constraints, there is no common region or points of intersection between these 2 lines. Okay? Nakita niyo ba, class? Walang intersection. Wala kayong makukuha ang physical region. Nakita niyo? By the way, may I request you to turn on your videos if permissible so that I can see you. Nakatulog na kayo. Please turn on your videos. I'll wait. Okay? Okay, class, nakita nyo ba yung graph na walang feasible region? This one. Nakita nyo ba? Okay? So, pag nakakita kayo ng graph, nag-graphical approach kayo, tapos wala kayong makuhang feasible region, the conclusion right away is that there is no feasible solution. So that's the indicator. No feasible region is an indicator of no feasible solution. Now, using the okay, so that's what we have on the right side of the screen. Now, using the iterations of simplex, you will only see and know that there is no feasible solution once you have reached the optimal tableau. Okay? Listen carefully. The indicator of no feasible solution will only appear in the optimal tableau. In the intermediate iterations, hindi nyo malalaman yan. Okay? You will not be able to see that. You will only see it in the optimal tableau. Okay, so what's the indicator? R is a basic variable in the optimal tableau. So if you look at this model, sinod niyo to using simplex, a big M technique. You will see that in the optimal tableau, again, emphasis is on optimal tableau, you will see that since this is a maximization model, okay, saan yung, ano yung basic natin? X2, this is basic. R1, basic. Okay, if you look at the non-basic variables, di ba yan yung criteria natin for optimality? We have to look at this one, and this one. You will see that 1 plus 5m, m, and 2 plus 4m are all positive already. So for a maximization model, the objective function rho coefficients are telling you that since the coefficients of the non-basic variables are all positive, then it means that the solution is already optimal. Optimal na yan. Pero, since wala ka ng entering variable at optimal na to, you will still see R1 in the basis column. Which tells you now, ito na yung indicator of a no feasible solution. It tells you that there is no feasible solution because an artificial variable should be and must be zero at the optimal solution. Okay? Kaya kung alam nyo sana to, actually nasabi ko na to sa inyo before. But when solving your assignments for two-phase or for revised simplex two-phase, and you see that R1 and R2 are both in the basic variable column here, both in this column pa, tapos optimal na, dapat alam nyo na no feasible solution or you did something wrong in the iterations. Okay? Because it's an indicator. Okay? So again, recap. If you use the graphical approach and then you find out that there's no feasible region, then the conclusion is that there is no feasible solution. Okay? Let me erase this. And then if you use the big M or the two-phase method and you use iterations, simplex iterations, once you reach the optimal tableau, meaning there is no more entering variable, okay, in the tableau. Then you look at the basic variable column. If you see an artificial variable there, then it means that your model has no feasible solution, provided your iterations were done correctly. Then the model has no feasible solution. Okay, so that's plain and simple. Implication. What is the implication if you check, double check, triple check your LP model formulation? You check, double check, and triple check your simplex iterations, and then the conclusion is that there is no feasible solution. Okay, so the implication is that since in a model you have less than and greater than constraints, it simply means that your resources are not enough to meet resources, meaning the less than or equal to constraints. They're not enough to meet the demands of your system. The demands would be your greater than or equal to system, or greater than or equal to constraints. Okay, so it simply means that the demands of the system cannot be met simultaneously by the available resources in your system. Okay, so what do you do? So if you look at this as your demand, no, in this one, right side of your screen, if you look at this as your demand, it's telling you that you should satisfy this demand. But this is your resource. It's telling you that you only have up to this point, and there is no intersection, no, of the two. So what do you do? For you to have a solution, for you to make the situation a practical one so that you can make a decision, you need to bring this, kailangan nyo ito ibaba, okay? You need to relax some of your requirements, and perhaps you need to increase your resources. If you increase your resources, obviously this line will go up. Okay? And if you reduce your requirements or your expectation, this line, okay, will come down. Okay? Kabayan, that's what will happen in your LP model. So the solution, it's telling you, it's telling the decision maker to compromise. Okay? You need to compromise. Adjust your capacity. Okay? Adjusting your capacity means increasing your resources. Okay? And if you have to, you can adjust your demand as well. Okay? Reduce your expectations, reduce your requirements. By doing that, you will now come up with a feasible region. Okay? So there are three possible ways to do it. Adjust your capacity, increase it without touching your requirement. If you want to satisfy the requirements of your customer, just adjust your capacity. Okay? So if you have budget to adjust your capacity, then increase this so that magkaroon tayo ng feasible region. Now, if you don't have budget to increase your capacity, pwedeng let go of your demand. So if you have a demand of 100 units, your capacity can only serve 50, let go of the 50. Bring this down to meet this one, to meet your available resources. Or the last option is to combine, increase your capacity and reduce your requirements in order to have a feasible solution. Okay? But of course, you cannot stay with an LP model that has no feasible solution. Kasi wala kang action plan as a decision maker. Okay? You need to be able to make that compromise in order to provide a practical solution for your problem. Right? So next, the second special case is the case where you have multiple optimal solutions. Okay? So what are the indicators? How would you know? Kung sa first case, yung no feasible solution, sabi ko, and I emphasize that you will only get to know it at the optimal solution. Okay? At the optimal tableau. Doon mo palang malalaman na there's no feasible solution. When you're graphing it, malalaman mo pa lang kapag tapos mo nang i-graph lahat at nakita mo na walang feasible region. Okay? Pag multiple optimal solution, ito yung definition. There are other solutions. Okay? The solution is not unique. There are other solutions which will give you the same maximum or minimum value of C. That's what we mean by multiple optimal solution. What are the indicators? So here. In the graph, the objective function is parallel to, okay, objective function means the graph of Z or your Z line, the graph of Z. Objective function or the graph of Z is parallel to a binding constraint. Okay, so tingnan natin ha. We have again two models, one LP model and with two constraints. Both constraints are less than or equal to, you have constraint 1 and constraint 2. So graphically, okay, you will see, saan ba si constraint 1? You will see that this is constraint 1, this one. Okay, that's constraint 1, and this is constraint 2. So you will see that both are less than or equal to. So constraint 2, again, is pointing, the region is pointing towards the origin. Okay? And constraint 1, ito yun, is pointing towards the origin. Okay? Now, when you graph your Z equation, alam niyo na kung paano gawin to, di ba? You will assume a value of Z and then graph it. Okay? So when you graph your Z equation, this is the graph of Z. Ito yun. This is the graph of Z. This one, this upper line. Okay? And since you're maximizing, you will see that if you graph this, Z line is parallel, di ba? So you will continue to move it up until the last point it touches the feasible region. So since this one, okay, this Z line is parallel to this line, which is the first constraint. Okay? So when you move this Z line up, 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 okay, until it leaves the feasible region. By the way, this is the feasible region. Okay? This is the common region produced by the two constraints. No? That's the feasible region. So if you move this Z line, itong Z line na to, this one, okay? If you move this from here, going up, you will see that it will touch this line segment prior to leaving the feasible region. Okay, this line segment, therefore, becomes your optimal solution. Ibig sabihin, sa simplex iteration, di ba sinabi natin, again, conceptually, that the iterations or the search for the optimal solution will only happen among all the feasible corner points. Okay? Among all the feasible corner points. So therefore, the search will only happen, since this is the feasible region, the search will only happen from the origin going here, okay, from the origin going to this point, adjacent, or from the origin going to this point. Okay? So if you use the simplex iteration and follow this graph, this will be your initial basic feasible solution at the point na to. Okay? And then from this point, you either, depending on your entering and leaving variable, you either move to this corner point or you move to this corner point. Okay? Now, if you move to this corner point, you will see that this point is already the optimal solution. Okay, optimal solution na yan. And your simplex tableau will show you that there is no more entering variable kasi optimal na. Alright? However, in the graph, you will see that even if you move to this point is still an optimal solution because it will still give you the same value of Z. Okay? Papakita ko mamaya yan in the iteration. Graphically, you will see that this line segment represents your optimal solutions. Kaya multiple optimal solution tayo. Simplex will only identify two optimal solutions kasi corner point search ang simplex. So it will only identify this corner point and this corner point. Okay, two optimal solutions lang. Pero sa graph, makikita nyo, all points along this line segment, are optimal solutions to this LP model. Multiple optimal solutions. Is that clear? Okay. And the indicator is that the Z graph, the line of Z, is parallel to a binding constraint. I hope you still remember what a binding constraint is. Okay? A binding constraint is one wherein if you substitute the values of x1, x2, and so on into the constraint, the left side will be equal to the right side. Okay, that's a binding constraint. And in the graph, you will know a binding constraint because it represents the intersection. Okay, the binding constraints are those constraints that intersect to form the optimal point. So since this is an optimal point, okay, the binding constraints are constraint number 1, this one, and the non-negativity constraint, this one. So these two constraints intersect to form this one. So binding ito, binding din ito, yung non-negativity. And for this optimal solution, constraint number 1 intersects with constraint number 2, okay, to form this point. So therefore, constraint 1 and 2 are both binding constraints, meaning if you substitute the optimal value of x1 and x2 into both of these constraints, 1 and 2, you will see that the left side will be equal to 21 for constraint 1 and the left side will be equal to 21 for constraint 2 as well. Okay, yun ang ibig sabihin ng binding. So let me now bring you Okay, ito yung graphical approach. Ito yung sinasabi natin na this is your Z line if you graph it. Okay, and since you're maximizing, you will move the Z line up until it leaves. Kaya, before it leaves, the Z line will be parallel to constraint 1. So it will touch this line segment. Kaya sabi natin, one condition for multiple optimal solution is dapat yung Z line nyo, Z line, should be parallel to to one of the binding constraints. In this model, constraint 1 and constraint 2 are both binding. The Z line is parallel to constraint 1. So that's an indicator of multiple optimal solution. So let's see. So we're now solving this LP model, okay? This LP model using simplex. So fast forward, ang sabi dito is, look at this, look at number 2, the indicator here. The indicator for multiple optimal solution obviously will only happen in the optimal tableau. That's the only time you will see and notice that you have multiple optimal solution. So for both the first case, no feasible solution, and the second case, multiple optimal solution, they both happen at the optimal tableau. Okay? Ano yung condition? It says here, in the optimal tableau, the coefficient of a non-basic variable is 0 and there is a leading variable. So you need to take note of this condition. Ito yung indicators sa tableau. There are two conditions. The coefficient of a non-basic variable is 0 and there is a leading variable. Three conditions actually. First condition is dapat optimal tableau ka na. Meaning, pag maximization, wala nang negative sa non-basic variable coefficients. Pag minimization, wala nang positive sa non-basic variable coefficients. So first condition, dapat optimal na yung tableau. Second condition, you look at the coefficient of all the non-basic variables that remain. Okay? At meron kang 0 sa mga non-basic variable coefficients. Second condition. And third condition, there is a leading variable. Okay? There is still a leading variable. If you make this one your entering variable, there is a leading variable. So this is the third condition. Okay? So let's see. Look at the optimal tableau of this problem. Okay, let's look at the optimal tableau of this problem. Maximization model siya. Okay? You will see that the basic column, X2 and S2, ito yung values ng X2 and X2. Sorry, this is the ratio. Ito yung value. X2 is 3, S2 is 15. And your Z value is equal to 42. Now, why is this the optimal tableau? Tingnan natin. X2, basic. S2, basic. Okay? Sabi natin, requirement of simplex tableau is dapat 0. Pag basic variable ka, the coefficients in the first row or the objective function row should be 0 if you're a basic variable. Now, if you are a non-basic variable, this is where you determine if the current iteration is already optimal or not. Since it's a maximization problem, it's not optimal if there's a negative coefficient. So you will see that the two coefficients that remain are non-negative. Okay, itong 2 at itong 0, they are non-negative. So the conclusion is that this iteration is already optimal. Okay, that's the first condition. Optimal na yung iteration. Second condition, look at the coefficients of the non-basic variables in the 0 in this row. If there is a non-basic variable with 0 coefficient, then again, that's an indicator that you could have multiple optimal solution. So there are only two coefficients, 2 and 0. This one is 0. Okay, so that's an indicator. So third indicator, okay, dapat if you make this as your entering variable, kaya naka-shade siya, if you make this as your entering variable, when you get the ratio, there has to be a leading variable. So when you make x1 as your entering variable and you get the ratio between solution and this one, 3 and 2 over 7, 15 and 45 over 7, you will get this. And you will be able to select the minimum ratio, which is S2 as your leading variable. So if there is a leading variable, condition number 3, then it tells you that you have multiple optimal solutions. Okay? Is that clear? There are 3 indicators. Number 1, the tableau has to be optimal, meaning wala ka ng entering variable, wala ka ng negative kapag maximization, wala ka ng positive kapag minimization. Second, sa mga non-basic variables, you look at the coefficients in the zero here. If there's at least one of them that is 0, okay, then that's an indicator. You try to make that 0 coefficient as your entering variable. If there's a leading variable, then it is confirmed that you have a multiple optimal solution. And therefore, you can iterate. Pwede ka pa mag-iterate because you have an entering and a leading variable. Okay? So now, the next thing is, why do we make this variable an entering variable? Bakit? Okay? So again, always remember that the reason why we make a negative coefficient, example lang if this is negative, we make this as our entering variable. Okay? Naalala ninyo that the standard form of Z is something like this. Z minus, kunyari lang minus 2S1 is equal to 42. Do you remember? Do you remember that I told you that each row is an equation? Okay, each row is an equation wherein you put all the variables on the left side and the constants on the right side. Okay, each row is an equation. Okay, so therefore, the reason why for a maximization problem, if there is a non-basic variable, meaning S1 is 0 now, but the contribution or the coefficient is negative, the reason why we make it as an entering variable is because if we transpose this to the right side, it becomes 2S1, correct? Positive 2S1. Now, if Z is equal to positive 2S1, it means that making this an entering variable, right now kasi, it's a non-basic variable, yung S1. This one is a non-basic variable, which means that the value is 0. But if the equation tells us that Z is equal to 2S1, then making S1 positive would increase the value of Z. That's the implication. It would increase the value of Z. And since you're maximizing, you want anything that would increase the value of Z. And that's why negative coefficients for maximization problems are selected as entering variable. Because if you transpose it to the right side, it simply means that it has the potential to increase your Z value. Okay. Similarly, positive coefficients are entering variables for minimization problems. Kasi kapag minimization, tapos positive yung coefficient and you transfer it to the right side, the positive coefficient becomes negative. Okay? And you know that if you're minimizing Z, you would want to reduce. A negative coefficient would reduce the value of Z. That's why you want them as an entering variable. Okay? So now, if you understand that logic, a 0 coefficient on the other hand, if this is 0, okay, whether it's plus or minus, if this is 0, and you know that this current optimal tableau is already your optimal solution, Z is equal to 42 is optimal. If I transfer this to the right side, okay, if I transfer that to the right side, since the coefficient is 0, that means that even if I put a value and I make S1 basic, 42 will not change. Correct? Kahit na S1, right now S1 is non-basic. If I make it a basic variable in the next iteration, whatever the value of S1 is, since its coefficient is 0 in the objective function, anything multiplied by 0 will not increase or will not decrease your z value. Kaya you are able to get another optimal solution when you iterate here, another optimal solution that will give you the same value of z, which is 42. So in the graph, you are here. Okay? At this point, your z is equal to 42. You will see that your x1, or sorry, x2, okay, is equal to 3. 2 and 4 to, di ba? 2 and 4. So therefore, at this point, x1 is equal to, x2 is equal to 3. And at this point, x1 is equal to 0. You see that in the graph? Okay, you see that in the graph? So yan yung optimal solution natin. x2 is equal to 3. And since x1 is not in the basic variable column, x1 is equal to 0. Okay, so now, if you make the basic variable, the non-basic variable with 0 coefficient in the 0 as your entering variable here, and your leaving variable is the minimum ratio, which is 105/45, and this one is your leaving variable, you can now use Gauss-Jordan to iterate, diba? You have to multiply this whole row by 7/45 and make this 0 and make this 0. Okay, so go to the next slide. Okay, go to the next slide. You will see here that this is already 1 and this is 0, this is 0. Nag-iterate na tayo. Okay, and what do you notice? After iterating, you will see that your z value remains to be 42. Okay, pero this time x1 is 7/3 and x2 is 7/3. So graphically, if you look at the right side of your screen, the simplex iteration by entering x1 as your entering variable, it has brought you from this point where z is equal to 42, x2 is 3, x1 is 0, to this point where you will see that x1 is 2 and 1/3, 7/3, and x2 is also 2 and 1/3, 7/3, and z is also 42. So it has brought you from this point to this point. Ito ngayon yung iteration mo. Okay, and still, you will see that these two are basic in this iteration. These two are non-basic. Okay, so again, this is optimal because in a maximization problem, you will look at the non-basic variables, wala nang negative dito sa dalawa. There's no more negative. Okay, pero seeing a 0 coefficient for a non-basic variable is not common. It's a special case. Okay, so this should be an indicator that you have multiple optimal solutions. Okay, so ano sabi ko? Sabi ko is, if you see a 0 in the objective function row of a non-basic variable, make it your entering variable. Okay? If you make this your entering variable, you will see that the ratio between solution column, hindi na pwede to kasi negative eh. Okay, this one is negative. Don't take the ratio. So automatically, x1 becomes your leaving variable. Okay? Entering variable is S2, leaving variable is X1. You don't need to iterate. Kasi ang mangyayari, si S2 yung entering, pupunta si S2 dito, X2 and S2. You go back to your previous slide, X2 and S2. Okay? If you iterate this, entering, leaving variable, you will go back to this slide. So graphically, you will see that the simplex will not move to a more inferior point. So kapag naririto ka, optimal na, tapos may indicator of multiple optimal, nag-iterate ka ulit, you enter that variable with 0 coefficient, you will move here. The simplex will not proceed and move to this point because this point is inferior. The z value here, okay? sorry, the Z value here is lower than 42. It will not go here. So when you're at this point, okay, and you iterate, ginawa nyo to, no? Nag-iterate kayo, okay, nag-iterate kayo, then the simplex will simply move back to this point where Z is equal to 42. If you iterate again, it will go back to this point. It will just go back and forth, okay, between these 2 points. Kasi these 2 points represent your multiple optimal solution in the simplex search. Okay? Is that clear, class? Right? So now you stop here and you now say that you have 2 optimal solutions. The first one in the previous tableau is this, and the second one in the current tableau is this one. Both of them give you the same profit. Okay? But the decisions are different. You will see, di ba? Ang decisions mo magkaiba. So example, X1 and X2 are units of a product to produce. Okay? X1 and X2 are units of a product to produce. And then the first decision tells you, don't produce product 1, produce product 2, 3 units or 3,000 units. The second decision tells you, produce both product 1 and 2, 2,333 units each, or 2 and 1/3. Okay? Both will give you a profit of 42. Okay? So as a decision maker, you now have to decide what's the implication, di ba? Management is given flexibility in implementing the more beneficial solution. That's the key word. What is the beneficial solution? Okay, what will benefit the company more? Of course, money-wise, profit-wise, it's the same. It's 42. But there are other qualitative and unquantifiable benefits that you have to look into. Diba? So profit-wise, if you look at the sales and the cost, both solutions will give you 42, no problem. Diba? 42,000 or 42 million as your profit. Pero, what is unquantifiable? Well, let's say this solution of producing just one product will produce, let's say, less environmental waste versus producing 2 products that are to 2,000 each. It will produce more environmental waste, more scrap. Okay? So if there's more waste, on the basis of quantifying yung waste or yung effects sa environment, if this one minimizes waste, then you implement this solution. Okay? However, from a marketing perspective naman, or from a sales perspective, if this solution turns customers away, because there are some customers, when they order, they want both products to come from your company. They don't want to order product 2 from you and product 1 from a competitor, because that would be costly for their transportation. They want both products. So in that sense, sales and marketing will tell you, sir, let's just produce both products para if we have customers who require both products from us, they will not turn to our competitors who produce both products. Okay, so from a marketing and sales standpoint, pareho lang ang profit eh. Di ba? Pareho lang naman ang profit. Pero, again, in terms of gaining customer loyalty, this is the best solution to implement. Okay? So that customers will not go to your competitor. This is the best solution to implement. Okay? So depending on what the unquantified benefits are to the company, to the customers, to the environment, you now have to make a deliberation as management and decide on the more beneficial solution to implement. Okay? So yan yung implication ng multiple optimal solutions. Okay? So just go through this. We have basically done this. No? A non-basic with zero coefficient indicates multiple optimal solution. To obtain another, kasi since multiple optimal yan, ibig sabihin maraming solutions. To obtain another basic solution, all you have to do is to enter the non-basic variable with zero coefficient. Okay, and I explained this already, no? Why it will not affect the optimal solution if we enter the non-basic variable with zero coefficient. The z value will not change because the non-basic coefficient represents the change in z for every unit change in that variable. Okay, so there will be no change since the coefficient is zero. Okay. Okay, we're halfway through. I have to finish this today. So third special case, the case where we have unbounded solution space. So let's move here. Okay. Hold on for a second. Okay, so under unbounded solution space, this is an umbrella special case. Ibig sabihin, under this, there are two more subcases. So let's first discuss the unbounded solution space. What is the indicator? So here, the general rule for unbounded solution space. Okay, the general rule is that if at any iteration, so again, conceptually, the first two cases, the indicator happens at the optimal iteration, at the optimal tableau or solution. For this third case, unbounded solution space, it happens, you can spot unbounded solution space at any iteration when you do the syntax. Okay? If at any iteration, all the constraint coefficients of a non-basic variable are non-negative. So your lookout should be, ano yung non-basic variable mo sa iteration na yon, and look at the constraint coefficients. It doesn't matter whether the non-basic variable has positive or negative coefficient in the zero. It does not matter. The only criteria is that it is a non-basic variable and you look at the constraint coefficients. If all of them are non-positive meaning zero or negative, if all of them are zero or negative, then the solution space is unbounded in that direction. Okay? In addition, ito na ngayon yung infinite z value. So the first line up to this point, okay, this one, is an indicator that your model, the model that you have formulated, has an unbounded solution space. Okay? Then this line here, this second line up to this point, is an indicator naman of infinite z value. Okay. So, in addition, if this non-basic variable qualifies as an entering variable, meaning it has a negative coefficient for a maximization problem, or it has a positive coefficient for a minimization problem, then it qualifies as an entering variable. Then, the objective function value, z, is also unbounded or infinite. Pag sinabi natin unbounded, it's infinite. Okay? So, therefore, okay? Therefore, there are two conditions for infinite z value. One, dapat unbounded muna yung solution space. And the second one, dapat the NBV qualifies as an entering variable. So look at this model. Okay. Two constraints again. Let me see. This is constraint 1. Okay, this is constraint 1. And this is constraint 2. As you can see, both of them are less than. So you will see the arrows pointing towards the origin. Okay, the arrow pointing towards the origin. So there is a common space, right? There is a common space. And if I graph equation 1 and equation 2 here, the common space you will see would be this one. Okay, tama ba? Yeah, tama. Diba? This would be the common space. And you will see, kung sa bahay pa, walang bubong. Okay? Wala siyang bubong. So ibig sabihin, as this graph extends, as you extend this graph, okay, as you extend this line, your unbounded solution, your solution extends. In other words, all of this, okay, all of these are candidates, all of these are candidates for the search for an optimal solution. Okay, pero sabi nga natin, corner point approach lang, di ba? So look at the Z line. If you graph Z, this is the line. Okay? You're maximizing. Okay? We are maximizing. So therefore, if you look at the Z line, the first line that you will graph is this one, ito yung Z line. Okay? Then the next Z line is this, higher na yung Z value. Okay? And then another Z line is this, higher Z value. So you continue to move up your Z line. Okay? Kasi as you move up your Z graph, the Z value becomes higher and higher. Pero take note that as you keep moving up the Z line, okay, habang tinataas mo yung Z line, never kang exit from the feasible solution space. There will never come a time that you are able to exit or leave the feasible region. Okay, kasi the feasible region is unbounded, and it's unbounded in the direction of X2. This is X2 eh. So pataas yung unboundedness niya, no? Pataas is unbounded in the direction of X2. So do you get the point in the graph? In the graph, you will see that after graphing it, you have an unbounded solution space. Walang bubong, walang takip. Okay? So it just goes on and on infinitely, pataas. And then when you graph the Z line, okay, for this model, you will see that as you keep moving it up to achieve maximum Z, okay, you will just go higher and higher. Okay, and it will never exit the feasible region. So in other words, wala kang mahahanap na final optimal solution. Kasi your Z goes infinitely higher. Okay, that's why this is an example. Graphically, this is an example of a case where you have, number one, an unbounded solution space that goes up like this. And number two, a Z value that is also infinite or unbounded. Kasi hindi makakalabas yung Z eh. Z just keeps getting higher as the solution space goes higher. Okay? So therefore, Z is infinite in this case, graphically. Now, in the iterations, how will you see? How will you spot it? Okay, look at this. Okay, it's a maximization problem. Max problem, huh? Okay, S1, S2, basic from this one. And then X1, X2 are your non-basic variables. This is just the initial tableau. Sabi natin, you can spot the condition of unboundedness in any iteration, whether it's initial, intermediate, or final. You can spot it. Okay? So therefore, you will see that X1 and X2 are non-basic variables. So first condition for unboundedness, look at the non-basic variables, constraint coefficients. Ito yung constraint coefficients class. Okay? Constraint coefficients ng X1, constraint coefficient ng X2. You will see that X1 is okay. Both are positive. But X2, all of the constraint coefficients are non-positive. All of them are non-positive. So that's already an indicator that you have an unbounded solution space in the direction of X2. So as you can see in the graph, this unbounded solution space after graphing the two constraints goes infinitely in the direction of X2. Okay? So yun yung indicator dito sa iteration. Regardless of whether X2 is qualified as an entering variable or not, if you look at the constraint coefficients, pag nakita ninyong non-positive lahat, unbounded na agad yung solution space. Next, kapag may unbounded solution space ka, you will be interested to know whether your Z value is finite or infinite. So there are two cases. Z is finite or Z is infinite. Now, look at the objective function coefficient of the non-basic variable with non-positive constraint coefficients. Tingnan nyo to. Ask yourself, does it qualify as an entering variable? It's a max problem. We only enter the variable if it has a negative coefficient. Tama? So since this has a negative coefficient, kahit na negative 1 yan, or kahit na lower negative siya than this one, basta't negative yung coefficient niya, it qualifies. So the keyword here is qualifies as an entering variable. Since x2 qualifies as an entering variable, then automatically we can conclude just from the initial tableau that your LP model has an unbounded solution space and an infinite C value. You don't have to proceed. You don't have to proceed and solve kasi wala kayong masasolve. And that's why the indicator is very important. Kasi if you spot this already, non-basic variable with non-positive coefficient, and this non-basic variable qualifies as an entering variable, immediately you stop the iteration and you conclude that you have an unbounded solution space and an infinite Z value. No need to solve further. Okay? Saves you the trouble and the time. Okay? So what are the implications of an unbounded solution space? Something like this. Anong implications niyan? There is something wrong. Okay? There is something wrong. Kasi there is no such system that would give you an infinite Z value. Alam natin yan. It's very impractical and it's very unlikely. So that means there's something wrong. So ano yon? Ibig sabihin, there is one or more non-redundant constraints that have not been accounted for. That's missing in the model. Okay? Ibig sabihin, when you formulated the model, meron kang mga constraints na hindi na model or hindi na nailagay sa model mo. And that's why yung solution space mo, butas. Okay? Unbounded, walang bubong. Dapat sana, okay, if na-model mo lahat, no? If na-model mo lahat, you should have another constraint that perhaps goes like this. Okay? That goes like this. So that it would now produce a bounded solution. Okay? So ang implication lang ng unbounded solution, infinite Z, is that there is an unaccounted constraint. Okay? Hindi nyo siya na-model. So balik kayo sa model ninyo, balik kayo sa system ninyo, tingnan ninyo ano ba ang hindi natin na-model. Baka may requirement tayong hindi na-model or may resource tayong hindi na-model. Okay? Another possibility is that na-model mo lahat pero nagkamali ka sa pag-estimate ng parameters mo. Okay? The coefficients. Okay? The number of available resources, perhaps, mali. Kaya, nag-produce siya ng unbounded solution space. So, therefore, ang sinasabi ng slide na to is, if you produce an LP model with an unbounded solution space and infinite C, you go back to your modeling. You look at your coefficients, yung parameters mo. You also try to find which constraints ang hindi nyo na-model. Okay? Next, the second case is, it's possible that you have an unbounded solution space, pero you have a finite Z value. And how would you know? So, if that non-basic variable with non-positive, so example, ito. You see a non-basic variable with non-positive constraint coefficients. Let's say lang, kunyari lang, positive 2 ito. Then, since it's a maximization problem, this variable does not qualify as entering variable. Tama? It does not qualify if this is positive. It will not qualify. So you'll be forced to choose x1 as your entering variable. If that is the case, if the non-basic variable with non-positive constraint coefficients does not qualify as an entering variable, then it tells you that you have to proceed with your iterations kasi meron kang ibang entering variable and you will be able to come up with a finite Z value. Okay? So, the indicator that you have a finite Z value tells you to proceed with the iterations. Proceed with iterations. Whereas sa infinite Z, okay, stop. Don't stop. Don't proceed with the iterations. Stop the iterations. Okay? So, yun yung difference. Okay? So, let's go. Let's go here. This example, this is the graph. Okay? So this is your Z line. Wait lang. Yes. This is constraint number 1. This is constraint number 2. Okay? You have both less than equal to constraint. So both of them are pointing towards this side, towards the origin. This is your Z graph. This is your Z graph. So as you can see, you're maximizing. Okay, you're maximizing. Look at this. This is X1. This is X2. For you to maximize, you will see that you will not move your Z line along X2 kasi negative yung coefficient ni X2 eh. Okay? You will obviously move your Z line along X1. The higher the value of X1, the better because it has a positive 6 coefficient. So if this is your Z graph, you will not move your Z line to optimize, to maximize. If this is your Z line, you will not move your Z line to the left. You will move your Z line to the right, increasing yung X1 value. Okay? So that much you can see from the model, di ba? You will definitely move your Z line, okay, from this one to this one kasi it increases to the right. Now, as you move it to the right, it will increase the Z value. So as you continue to move the Z line to the right, you will see that the last point it touches, sorry, no, it doesn't look parallel, pero that's the intention. Okay, you will see that the last point it touches prior to completely leaving the feasible solution space. You will see here that this is the feasible solution space. Okay, this is the first constraint. This is the second constraint. So therefore, this is the feasible solution space. You will see again that the feasible solution space is unbounded. Okay, it's unbounded in the direction of X2. However, because the non-basic variable with non-positive constraint coefficients does not qualify as entering variable, you will see that from this point, perhaps you will move to this point, okay? And from this point, you will move to this point, and you will see that this point is the optimal solution. So since my optimal solution ka, then you will have a finite Z value at this point. Okay, I hope you see that. This is your Z line. As you continue to move it to the right, the Z line will touch this point prior to completely leaving the optimal or the feasible region. So therefore, this point is your optimal solution. So let's go to the iterations. Okay. Go to the iterations. So again, S1, S2, non-basic, basic. X1, X2, non-basic in this initial iteration or first tableau, first iteration. Okay, and without looking here, you just look at the constraint coefficients of the non-basic variables. Again, you will see that X2 has non-positive constraint coefficients, all of them. So automatically, because of that, you conclude that there's unbounded solution space. Okay. Next, you look at X2, you look at this. It's a maximization problem. Does this qualify as entering variable? Okay. Since it's positive, it does not qualify. Therefore, automatically, the conclusion is there is a finite Z value. Proceed with iterations. Okay, finite Z value, proceed. So therefore, you have a case where you have an unbounded solution space and a finite Z value. As you can see, X1 is non-basic and it is negative. It qualifies as an entering variable. So you can enter it, find a leaving variable, and proceed with your next iteration. You will see in the next iteration, your non-basic variables are X1 and S1. Whereas X1 is basic, X2 is basic. Okay, so focus on the non-basic variables. Okay, you will see here that you don't have a non-basic variable anymore wherein all of the coefficients are non-positive. Okay? Meron kang positive 1 saka 1/2. So just continue with your iteration. You will see that x1, s1. Sorry, mali yata ako. x1, s2 ang basic. x1, x2 ang basic. So this is where we, sorry. Okay? This is where we look, x1 and s2. So this one is basic. S2 is also basic, whereas x2 is non-basic. Okay, so we look here. Ganun pa rin. Since this is a non-basic variable with negative coefficient, enter it, find the leading variable, and you will see in the last iteration, ito yun sa graph, look at the right side of your screen. You started with the origin, you went here, sa origin, nakita nyo na unbounded solution space, unbounded. And alam nyo na sa origin na finite C. Unbounded space, finite C. Alam nyo na from here, okay, from the first iteration. Then, the solution move to iteration 2, naririto na tayo, wherein x1 is equal to 1. Ito yung x1 equal to 1. Hindi pa optimal. You can still enter x2 as your entering variable, di ba? So you move to the third iteration, you move here. Okay? And here you found your optimal solution wherein x1 is 4 and x1 is 4 here and x2 is more than 4. No, it's 6. This one. Okay? So therefore, you find your optimal solution here with C equal to 12. Okay? Is that clear? Last case. Okay, 1 minute left. Those who can extend until 12:45, stay behind. Those who really cannot, have to go, just listen to the recorded lecture. Okay, so last case. The case where we have a degenerate solution. Okay, there are two cases under degeneracy. First, ano ba yung degeneracy? Degeneracy occurs when in any iteration to. You don't have to wait for optimal iteration. If in any iteration, one or more of the basic variables equals 0. So again, as I've told you, basic variables dapat may value yan. Non-basic variables 0 yan. Okay? However, in the process of solving for the basic variables, if it happens that the basic variable solved has a value of 0, then hindi siya non-basic. Okay? Basic siya pero 0 yung value niya. So that's uncommon. Okay? That's an uncommon situation. And we call that situation a degenerate solution. Again, a degenerate solution is one wherein in any iteration, you see a basic variable having a value of 0. Okay? So, yun yung condition ng degeneracy. Now, degeneracy will happen, ang indicator natin dito is that in the previous iteration, when we're getting the ratio for the leading variable, merong dalawa, at least two variables na magtatay, okay, for the minimum ratio. Indicator yan that in the next point, in the next iteration or in the next corner point, you will have degeneracy. You will have basic variable that has 0 value. Okay? So read here. This will only happen if there is a tie for the minimum ratio in selecting the leading variable in the previous iteration. Okay? Implication of degenerate solution. The LP model has at least one redundant constraint. Yun lang ang ibig sabihin nun. And I think I discussed this many sessions ago, no, when we were formulating LP models. That if you have a redundant constraint, redundant means that that constraint can be removed without affecting the optimal solution. And usually, the result of having a redundant constraint in the model is slower computational time. Okay, it will take longer for you to solve for the optimal solution. That's the first effect. And the second effect of redundant constraints is that you will have basic variables that are 0 in value. Okay, or the second effect is a degenerate solution. Not really that bad, no? If you have a degenerate solution, okay, Hindi naman siya all that bad. Okay, that's just the implication. So let's look at this model again. Two maximization model with two constraints less than or equal to. Okay, so if you look at the right side of your screen, I cannot see. Okay, this is constraint number 1 here. The graph for constraint number 1. This is the graph for constraint number 2. Okay, since both of them are less than or equal to, you will see that the region is this, okay, pointing towards the origin, and the common region is the triangle. Okay, this triangle here. That's the feasible region or solution space for this LP model. Okay, feasible solution space. And you will see that this is your Z graph. Okay, this is your Z line. Since you're maximizing, okay, then you will have to move this Z line upwards. So if you move this Z line upwards, you will see that parallel lines, diba, yung Z. You will see that the last point prior to leaving entirely the feasible region is this point. It will happen at this point. So this is your optimal solution graphically. Okay, now look. A degenerate solution happens if there is a redundant constraint that intersects the corner point. Okay? Or what we call an overdetermined corner point. So tingnan nyo tong corner point na to. Alam natin, initial solution starts here, okay, and the solution moves to this point in the second iteration. And this happens to be the optimal solution already. Okay? So now, you will see that a corner point is determined, any corner point is determined by two lines. Tama? A point is determined by two lines. This point has been determined by this non-negativity constraint and this constraint number 2, this constraint. Okay? But you will see that there is a third line that forms this point. Okay? Therefore, this is an excess line. Hindi natin kailangan yung line na yan to form this point because we already have two constraints that intersect to form that point. Therefore, we conclude that this is an overdetermined corner point. Overdetermined corner point, meaning the corner point was determined by more than two lines. Whenever you see a corner point determined by more than two lines, it points to you or it indicates to you that there is degeneracy at this point. Okay? So, lalagyan ko. So, pag may overdetermined corner point ka, ibig sabihin, there is degeneracy at this point. Meaning, there is a basic variable equal to 0. At least one basic variable equal to 0 at this point. Is that clear? And since this point that is overdetermined and that is degenerate happens to be the optimal solution as well, then this is the case where you have permanent degeneracy. Permanent degeneracy means that the optimal solution is degenerate. Ito yun, degenerate optimal solution. Pag permanent, ang degeneracy, ibig sabihin, dala-dala niya yan hanggang optimal solution. So, your optimal solution is also degenerate. That's what it means. Okay, so again, recap. If you see a corner point determined by more than two lines, that means that that corner point is an overdetermined corner point. And it also means that if it is a feasible corner point, again, the keyword is it is a feasible, it's part of the feasible region, then that corner point experiences degeneracy. Or at that point, there is a basic variable that will be 0. Okay? And if that corner point happens to be the optimal solution, then it means that you have a permanent degenerate solution or a permanent degeneracy. Okay? So from the graph, it's very easy to see that. Okay? Now, in the iterations, if you start here as your initial solution, the indicator that you will have a degenerate point in the iteration, kasi sa graph nakikita natin na intersected siya by more than two lines. Pero sa simplex iteration, hindi natin makikita yon. Kung ilan yung nag-intersect to form the corner point. We won't see that. So ano yung indicator natin that we are going to move to a degenerate point? Okay? The indicator will happen here. Okay? Kasi magkakaroon ka ng tie for the leading variable, for the ratio of the leading variable. So in other words, in the simplex iterations, the indicator of a degenerate solution will happen in the corner point before that degenerate corner point. Okay, right before. So before that corner point, you will already see, pag may tie sa minimum ratio for choosing the leading variable, you already know that in the next iteration, you will find a degenerate corner point where a basic variable will be 0. Okay, so you just play back what I've been emphasizing. Okay, I've said it so many times. So let's look at the graph. Okay, sorry. Okay, so the graph tells you an overdetermined corner point and a degenerate optimal solution, which I have already discussed to be here. Next. Okay, a degenerate solution means, I've already said that, a redundant constraint intersects a feasible corner point. This is a feasible corner point. This is a redundant constraint. It intersects that. Okay? Degeneracy always occurs, as I've said, whenever you see that a feasible corner point is intersected or is formed by more than 2 lines, it makes it overdetermined, and therefore degeneracy always occurs at an overdetermined feasible corner point. Okay, so the definition is this: at least 3 lines intersect, 3 lines or constraints intersect to form that feasible corner point. Okay, next, look at the simplex iteration, first iteration, okay, of this sample LP model. If you iterate, you will see that the entering variable is the most negative. So entering variable is x2. And then when you get the ratio, 8, 4 over 4, 2, 8 divided by 4 and 4 divided by 2, you will see that there is one tie. Okay, there are 2 variables that tie for the minimum ratio. So this is already the indicator. Indicator of degeneracy in the next iteration. Okay, class, if I ask you, is this, di ba sabi ko, every iteration is a corner point. Every iteration is a corner point. You move from one corner point to another corner point, feasible. Okay, is this corner point degenerate? Yes or no? Is this corner point, is this iteration degenerate?
No, sir.
The answer is no. This is not a degenerate corner point. It only provides you with an indicator that the next corner point or the next iteration will be degenerate because of this tie for the leading variable in the minimum ratio. Okay? So when I move, so iterate na tayo. So arbitrary yung choice. You can choose S1 as your leading variable or S2 as your leading variable. No problem. So if you choose S1, you iterate, you go to this iteration. Di ba? So in this iteration, automatic dapat, you will see a basic variable that is 0. That has a 0 value in the solution column. This tells you that you have a degenerate point. Degenerate corner point or solution. Okay? Having this means that you have a degenerate solution. So in your graph, look at the right side. You started at the origin, you move to this point. Pero makikita natin, basic variable si x2 at saka si s2. Okay? Non-basic ito. Maximization problem. So therefore, you look for negative coefficients. Ito, negative. So hindi pa optimal. Di ba? Hindi pa optimal. Okay? In other words, you are at this point, pero hindi pa optimal. Kasi this point is part of this line. Hindi pa siya optimal. May entering variable ka pa. Okay? So when you enter it, Okay, when you enter it, you will see that z value is 18. Huh? When you enter x1, because it has a negative coefficient, you will see that 2 divided by 1/4 is 8. 0 divided by 1/2 is 0. Automatically, listen here, automatically, if the leading variable, is the one that has 0 coefficient, automatically that's an indicator of a permanent degeneracy. Kasi, di ba, ang procedure natin is we divide the pivot row by the pivot element. Di ba? Yan yung procedure natin. We divide everything by 1/2. But since this one is 0, dividing it by any number will still be 0. Meaning, in the next iteration, 0 pa rin yan. If this is your leading variable, then in the next iteration, 0 pa rin yan. Which means that in the next iteration, degenerate ka pa rin. Okay? So therefore, if the leading variable in a degenerate corner point is the variable with 0 value, then that indicates that you have a permanent degenerate solution. So if this is your leading variable and you iterate using Gauss-Jordan, you will see that you still have a 0 variable, meaning it's still degenerate. Diba? Degenerate pa rin. And you will see that the z value is still 18. Okay? 18 pa rin, meaning you stayed at this point. It's not multiple optimal. Okay, again, let me emphasize. Iteration 2, z is 18. Iteration 3, z is 18. Pag multiple optimal, dapat you should move from one corner point to another corner point with the same z value. Pero pag degenerate, you will see that iteration 1 ito, iteration 2 ito, sa iteration 3, naririto ka pa rin. Okay? Ibig sabihin, degenerate yung iteration 2 and you stayed permanently in this point going to iteration 3. It has the same z value, of course. Okay? So that's the difference between multiple optimal. Okay? You have one optimal kasi we cannot consider this as an optimal solution dahil may entering variable ka pa. So the only optimal solution that you have is this one, is this iteration. So this is already optimal because the non-basic variables here are already positive, wala nang negative. So you conclude optimal solution is x1 equals 0, x2 equals 2, pero basic variable ang category ni x1. It has a 0 value. And the non-basic variables are s1, s2 equals 0, z is equal to 18. This is what we call a permanent degeneracy. So again, to recap, permanent degeneracy can be detected, okay, sa first iteration by virtue of the tie for the minimum ratio for the leading variable. It indicates that the next iteration will be degenerate. Okay, so when you go to the next iteration, you will see the degeneracy here. Okay, but if you do make the entering in the leading variables, and then the leading variable is the variable with 0 solution column value, then that's an indicator that the degeneracy is permanent and that you will not move away from this corner point. You will stay in this corner point, having z equals 18. Okay, that's permanent degeneracy. And the last case, okay, the last case is a temporary degenerate solution. Okay, temporary degenerate means that pagdating mo sa point na to, you will move to another point na hindi degenerate, and then you will find the optimal solution. So let's go to this graph. This is the last one. Okay, so this is the redundant constraint. This is constraint number 3. Constraint number 1 is this one. This is constraint number 1. And then constraint number 2 is this. That's constraint number 2. Okay. So this is your z line. This is your z line. So you will see again that all the constraints are less than or equal to, they're pointing here. Okay. Right. So pointing here, and then the other one is pointing here also. So therefore, what's the region? This will be the region. feasible solution space. Okay, and you will see that this is your Z line. No, it's not really parallel. And when you move your Z line pataas, it will touch a last point, which is this one. This is the last point that it will touch. This point. So class, ilan na lang naman kayo eh, no? Isa ka na lang ulit. Degeneracy, if you look at this graph, no, the initial solution is this one. Okay? Degeneracy will happen at a corner point that is determined by at least 3 lines. More than 2 lines dapat. Obviously, this is not a degenerate point. Okay? That's not degenerate. This one is not degenerate. This one is also not degenerate kasi 2 lines lang. The degeneracy happens here. Okay? Because this point is determined by the non-negativity constraint, which is this one, constraint number 2, and constraint number 3. Okay? So this point is determined by 3 intersection of 3 lines. So degeneracy happens here. So the simplex takes you from this point to this point. Okay? And then it takes you to this point. You will see that there is degeneracy here. Okay? There is degeneracy here, but the optimal solution is not a degenerate point. Hence, we say that degeneracy is only temporary at this point. Then after this temporary degeneracy, it goes to the optimal solution. Yan ang ibig sabihin ng temporary degeneracy. Okay, so dapat if I give you a graph, you should already tell kung saan pwedeng mangyari yung degeneracy. Dapat sa feasible solution space, you look for the corner points determined by more than 2 lines. That is where the degeneracy will happen. And if the optimal solution is there, it means that permanent degeneracy yon. But if the optimal solution is in another feasible corner point that is not degenerate, then it's a temporary degeneracy. Okay? So let's go to an example. Okay, so the degenerate, diba? So maximization problem, non-basic variables are x1 and x2. Both qualify as entering variable, so you choose the most negative, so -3. And then when you get the ratio, 12/4 is 3, 8/4 and 8/4 are both 2. So on account of this, you know that your solution is going to move to the next iteration, which is a degenerate corner point. Okay, so indicator na to na the next iteration is degenerate. So you iterate, okay, iterate lang kayo using Gauss-Jordan. Go to iteration 2. You will see that in iteration 2, one of the basic variables here is 0. Okay, so that indicates that this corner point and this iteration is a degenerate solution. Okay, degenerate corner point. So since maximization yan, negative coefficient, look for the negative coefficient, entering variable, and now you will see, listen here, you will see that in choosing the ratio, 4 divided by 2 is 2, 2 divided by 1/4 is 8, 0 divided by negative, this is negative, so it does not qualify. So take note that because 0 does not qualify to be a ratio, then you will choose between S1 and X1, itong 2 and 8. The minimum ratio would be 2. So you will choose S1. So right here, you will already conclude that since you did not choose the one with the 0 value, the basic variable with the 0 value as your leading variable, you choose another basic variable as your leading variable, then it means that degeneracy is only temporary in iteration 2. such that if you do entering and the leaving and you do Gauss-Jordan, you will find that the optimal solution, optimal na to, no? No more negative. Okay? The optimal solution will be z equal to 17 over 2. And then you will see here that there is no basic variable having a 0 value anymore. So you have successfully moved from iteration 1 to iteration 2 here where it is degenerate, and you have moved out of degeneracy to find this optimal solution in iteration 3.